Hey, and welcome back to Parrot Gaming Productions, where this is interview number 3 within 4 days. So we're just knocking them out here. I've got Bryan with me. Bryan, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself as this week's guest?
All right, my name's Bryan Peterson. I'm way too old to still be playing video games, but they just they're just fun. I don't know. I could have a much worse hobby.
Yeah, model trains, spending way too much on actual replicas.
Yeah, or you can combine the two and get that model or that train simulator where you just spend $5,000 on DLC. I don't know.
I would never know about it. I take 2 looks at that, and I'm just like, I'm not sure how that goes. I don't. That really.
I've just seen posts about that stuff where somebody will be like, if you want to experience the full game, you have to spend like $6,000 to get all the trains, I guess. I don't know. I don't do the train simulator.
Oh, all right. That's something interesting that we're gonna look into. In your little biography that you kind of gave me here, you've got a PC, you've got a PlayStation, and a Switch, and I can definitely tell you've got the kind of PC setup that I'm interested in. Is that your second screen that's sitting right next to you there?
It is. This is, my wife hates this, but this is my 4K monitor for my PS5. Because I have a 4K TV, but like, then she couldn't be on the TV, and like, it's just, and then I can focus on a game whenever I'm sitting here on a monitor. Like,
okay. Yeah, I've got the same where I've got my 1440 hertz right in front of me, and then I've got my Black Friday special 65-inch 4K TV just sitting next to me, which was, I thought it was going to be like small enough, but I mean it's been fun playing like Madden on and stuff like that. So I don't know. Have you ever seen people who rented out those theaters to play video games, where like they rent out like a
No. I mean, I know that happens, but no, I've never experienced that or known anybody that did it.
I think that would be pretty awesome to play like Madden or like Call of Duty or something like that, where you rent out an entire theater and just go for it. So
No.
okay, so PC, PlayStation, and Switch. What do you play on the Switch? What's your kind of go-to with the Switch?
Honestly, I don't play much on there. I mostly got it for my wife for Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
I've played some Stardew Valley on there, even though I played it on PC also. I play some Super Mario Odyssey, which I was having fun with, but I don't know. It's just, I got to charge a thing. I sadly could not find the actual Switch that has the dock and stuff. I only found the Lite, which, I mean, yeah, it's cheaper, but I hate losing that functionality. I don't like playing with those tiny controllers personally.
Okay. So, no, that makes sense, because I had Animal Crossing for a while, and even though it was fun, the portability of it, I'm very much still of the same mindset that you're talking about, where you dock it, you plug in the controller, and you kind of go. Animal Crossing did feel a little bit better on a bigger TV. That's really all I ever had the Switch for. I did end up getting rid of the Switch because, I mean, you don't touch something for a couple of months, and you're just like, why even bother? Why do I have it?
Yeah, I mean, my wife hasn't played it in a while. I obviously haven't touched it, but
Yeah.
mostly I kind of, she wanted Animal Crossing, and I mostly kind of pushed her into getting the Switch to play Animal Crossing, so that eventually, if Bayonetta 3 ever comes out, I can play it. But that game's never coming out.
So I'm not part of the Bayonetta series. I know who Bayonetta is for obvious reasons, but why is it like Cyberpunk, where it's just super delayed or something like that?
It's a character action game, like, Devil May Cry, God of War style game. I just enjoy those.
Well, is there a reason why it's super delayed in coming out, or is it just the publisher's just taking forever?
Platinum Games doesn't know how to make games anymore. I don't know.
Okay, that's interesting. So with the PC, I always like to ask: is your Steam library as full as mine, where you have like 20-30 games in total, but you only play like 2 or 3?
I have a lot of games, and a lot of them are unplayed, or like I literally have a section in my library that's specifically for, like, I need to play these, and none of them are installed right now because I'm just like, I'll get to that eventually. Like, God, I can't remember the name of it. That Wild West game that's kind of like Commandos.
Okay.
I played Commandos. Can't remember the name of it right now. Desperados 3. I think.
Desperados 3. All right.
Yeah. And I was enjoying it a lot, but I was just like, I need the hard drive space because Call of Duty takes up way too much space for every update. So I'll uninstall that and I'll get back to it. And I haven't, but that game was really fun, and I want to get back to it eventually.
What about it made it a great game? Like, what was it? What kind of drew to what? Yeah, yeah. Words are hard right now. Words are hard. What was the draw?
I don't know. I mean, I like Western setting stuff anyway because I'm stupid, I guess. I don't know, but
Well,
but
I mean, everyone enjoys a good old Western. I mean, look at Red Dead Redemption. That whole series. I mean, there's no way that it's that massive. And, you know, a lot of people just love that Western old school style of video gaming. I don't see why that would make you stupid, man. I mean, if anything, it lumps you into a nice little group.
Yeah, but it's Desperados 3 is just like a strategy, like you kind of plan out moves, and I don't know. Sometimes I enjoy that, but I feel like getting far in that game would eventually anger me. Just XCOM. I love playing XCOM, but once I get like 80% through the game, like it gets too hard for me. But yet I refuse to play it on easy, so because I'm an idiot.
No, I feel you. Most recently, I'm doing a Fallout 4 playthrough where I'm trying to be a Jedi. Like I've got a lightsaber with I've got like 40 or 50 mods on, and I'm like, I can't just beat this on easy. Like I'm tired of beating on easy, so I've got it on. I think I've got it on a hard mode with like realistic ballistics, and I'm kind of upping the ante, and I'm finding combat to be a little bit more difficult than I anticipated this late on in the game. And I simply just go, I'm gonna beat this on hard with all these extra difficulties. I stopped for a little bit. I haven't played in like 2 days because of the frustration. But I feel you. It's like, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it right. You know.
Yeah. I try to, usually with certain types of games, like I'll try to play on the hardest difficulty available, and that bit me in the butt with God of War 3. Whenever I was playing through that game, I got through almost all the game, but there's a part very late in the game where you're going like up or down this elevator type thing, and they just send so many things at you, and I kept almost beating it, and eventually it was just like, hey, because I was on the hardest, it asked me if I wanted to kick it down all the way to the easiest, and I was like, I wish it would just take it one notch lower, like,
yeah,
because that was bad. Didn't get the trophy for beating that thing, or whatever the hardest one was.
Are you a trophy hunter?
It depends on the game. I mean, yes and no. Like certain games, like Spider-Man, I'll try to platinum that. Certain games I will. Certain ones I just don't care enough.
Now, I love Spider-Man. I love him to death. I remember I played on the PlayStation 4. Is it much different? What am I trying to say here? The Miles Morales expansion. Do you have that?
Yeah.
Is it worth it?
I enjoyed it a lot. Like I feel like the combat was a lot smoother. Like I don't know. I felt like it was an improvement. I'm curious to see whenever they come out with the Spider-Man 2 if they kind of add some of that back to Peter Parker or if they just kind of keep them separate. I mean, obviously Peter Parker won't go invisible, but
yeah, I love I loved swinging around New York. Like I think I made it like 3/4 of the way through the game, and I'd just be swinging around New York and having a lot of fun, and it was a great experience. I loved it. The only problem was you'd run into combat, so I restarted the game, and this was my playthrough to just swing around New York and do whatever. It just, I mean, I don't know what it was, but just swinging around New York, it felt like a mini game in and of itself. Like it was just way too much fun.
Yeah,
way too much fun. So Ghost of Tsushima, you had mentioned that in some of your top video games here. That's the samurai one, right? Where you team off against somebody in kind of like a 3D style battle royale, or not battle royale, a 3D octagon.
No. Oh, I think you're thinking of Naraka.
Naraka. Okay.
I have that one on there also. Ghost of Tsushima is just an open world game. It kind of reminds me of the older Assassin's Creed games.
Okay.
Back whenever they had actual decent combat. I mean, this combat's great in Ghost of Tsushima, but I don't care for the new Assassin's Creed combat. I know it's more RPG, and I don't know. It just doesn't feel as good.
Doesn't feel as good. I'm hesitant on Valhalla because I've played a lot of the Assassin's Creeds, and I do like them. But at some point in time, it kind of goes back to that hard difficulty where it gets to a point where you're taking on these enemies and where you come with like a back kill, and the back kill doesn't do enough damage, and you get into these massive brawls, and it doesn't seem worth it. I remember, I think it was Odyssey, where it's set in Rome, where you would have bounty hunters come after you, and I'm like level 5 or 10 or whatever in the game, and I've got like a level 15 bounty hunter, and it's like, this almost doesn't, like, it almost discourages just slaughter and killing of everything, and I didn't like that. It made me upsetty spaghetti, so I don't know.
Yeah, like that's one of the changes that I don't like, is because they have like levels and loot and stuff. Like, yeah, backstab's not always going to kill. Now, I don't know if Odyssey did it. I did stupidly purchase Valhalla because I got that and Legion in like a bundle or something that was fairly cheap, and it was early PS5 days, so I was like, I need something to play. Need to play everything. So in that one, it has an option where you can have the backstab kill instantly, like if you sneak up on somebody, and I feel like that should be like, I'm an assassin.
Yeah.
I'm stabbing you and doing 20% damage because my knife isn't as good or whatever.
Yeah, why would that even be an option? If I come from behind and get you in the neck, you probably should perish, unless, because I'm looking at Naraka Blade Point here, and I'm looking at some of the people with their armor. It's like, no, I maybe understand where, like in D&D where you roll for a critical hit or something like that, and you just miss. You'll still stab them, but it's maybe a slight miss, and it doesn't go through there. But I am kind of looking at a quick little glance here for Naraka. You can actually have guns in the game, is what it looks like.
Yeah, that game needs a lot of balance. I enjoy playing it, but like there's a repeater crossbow that just shoots 60 or 80 rounds, crossbow bolts. But then they'll have like a pistol that holds like 5 that isn't very good. Like there's just a lot of weird balance things or a musket that holds 12 that's hard to aim and shoot. Like,
so with Naraka, a lot of it is it's 1v1 combat with you and somebody else.
It's a battle royale.
It's a battle royale.
They have solos and then they have trios. I don't know how many the max. I don't know how much it goes up to. I feel like it's 60 or something.
Okay. Is there like a meta? Because I know a lot of games that are out now that are the PvP or battle royale stylish games, they have a lot of metas. Is there like a meta setup that a lot of people use?
The spear is very overpowered. I feel like a lot of people play. I can't remember I think it's Matari. There's some character that can like blink and kind of like warp, and then she can go invisible as her ult. I feel like I see a lot of people playing that because you can use it offensively or defensively. I play as a person who just throws a giant sword that just rotates around and hurts people.
All right. Is there because a lot of the fighting games that I've noticed more, because like fighting games and I go back to Tekken 3, where everyone's basically on the same level, and it's a little bit more skill based instead of timing. Is it down to like where this chick's super quick and swift, where she could bounce around the map like nobody's business, and then you got the big lumbering ogre with the giant sword, where if you pull off a hit, you're gonna do some damage, but it's difficult to pull off a hit as some of those main tanks?
No, it mostly comes down to the weapons. The weapons have different combos associated. Like the greatsword, yeah, it's slow, but yeah, it'll hit you hard.
Okay.
I don't think any of the characters move faster or slower depending on their size, but yeah, just some of them have something to get away faster or teleport, I guess.
All right. But is there which, because it's a little interesting to me to play a battle royale style game with set in the set in old school kind of feudal Japan. Is there something a little bit different about it? Because you said that you play PUBG as well too. Is there anything that draws you a little bit more to this than say something like PUBG?
Movement, like you get a grappling hook, so you can kind of. There's just good techniques there. PUBG, I've played it a lot and I hate it. I don't know why we still play it. Usually I play it on Saturday with my brother and a friend of ours, and it's fun to just play a game with people that we used to play, but it's very frustrating at times.
No, I picked up PUBG about 2 or 3 times, and I think I lasted, like, I picked up a weapon. I think I picked up a 1911 and a shotgun, and that was about as far as I got into the game, and I was just like, nope, I'm done. This is too, I hit games where you have to be exquisitely good right off the bat, or you're always going to be at a deficit.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That game is very frustrating because PUBG, I don't know, it's hard to describe, but like it feels like sometimes it has amazing like gunplay, and then other times it feels like just total trash. But the movement sucks. Like, I'm shocked that it's been out so long and they still haven't done anything about the movement. Like, in some ways it's good because in Call of Duty everybody's just slide canceling everywhere and just bunny hopping all over the place. And you don't have as much of that in PUBG, but sometimes it's just like to climb over a wall it takes you like 5 seconds, and it's just like I'm getting shot in my butthole. Like, let me get over this wall.
That's why I'm a big fan of Battlefield. There, you can't slide cancel. It's, it's very, like, that was the draw for me because I'm a veteran. Like, that was the draw for me. I think it was Norshire Canals. Everyone knows that. I had the 240 set up, and I put the bipod down, set it down, and I had myself a killing field. And it was at that moment in time that I was like, this game is legit. This is how I like to play. Nobody was bunny hopping around. Nobody was doing the 360 no scopes. You legitimately had to have skill to play the game, and I feel like, especially with Call of Duty, it almost feels like if you can master the bunny hops and the slide cancels and this that, I don't understand. Yeah, drop shots. It's annoying. It's so annoying.
Yeah, I enjoy Battlefield more most of the time, but I mean, Call of Duty comes out with a new piece of trash game every year. Although I did play the Call of Duty Vanguard beta on the PlayStation, and I'm not buying that game.
Oh, that bad?
If it's gifted to me, I will accept it, but I am definitely not buying that game. It's the worst Call of Duty experience I've ever had. I mean, it doesn't help them that they put in they put some new mode in called Champion Hill, and it's like 8 teams of 2, and it's like it's like you versus a team. You play for like 3 minutes, and then however many lives you lose there, you go into the next round fighting a different random team. It's weird. There's like at the start of the round you buy stuff, and then sometimes you get another buy station in the middle of your round. It's very weird.
Okay.
I did not enjoy it.
I know a lot of people are excited about Rebirth. Like, I know that that game mode is actually pretty big with a lot of streamers now because it's no more of this, you die, you go gulag, or you get bought back. It seems like you just kind of keep coming back, and you keep fighting. And it's a bit more gameplay oriented instead of, the kind of one and done, which is why I hated Warzone to begin with. I remember Warzone came out, I had a couple of buddies like force me to try it, and it's not fun. It's just not fun because if you don't, I watch a lot of the YouTube shorts, or a lot of the YouTube shorts turn out to be just TikToks, but you see these guys that are just like laser on it, and you're like, how do you control that? Like, how is there that how do you control that? It's frustrating.
Yeah, I've gotten decent at controlling recoil, but yeah, some people it's just a literal laser beam that does not jump at all.
Yeah.
Those people are probably cheating. I do accuse everybody of cheating in every game, especially Warzone. I like to stick to be honest with you, like, I like to stick to the single player. That's the only reason why I bought Call of Duty, the Modern Warfare, when it came out. The storyline, I thought the story was going to be a little bit more built upon, and I did have fun with the storyline. I did like how the seasons were kind of building a story, but it felt like they were really pushing towards Warzone, and I couldn't get behind it. It's not fun. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, I've had fun with Warzone, but
yeah.
I've had a lot of frustrating moments with Warzone. I do enjoy Rebirth more because whenever they first announced Warzone, I thought the Gulag sounded awesome. I was like, okay, cool, you get a second chance. And now I hate the Gulag more than anything because it's just random weapons. It's like sometimes they just put you with dual deagles, and it's like, this sucks. I can't hit anything with this. I don't like the Gulag. My nephew hates it because he plays a lot of Warzone.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I'm playing that game, I'm just like, they should remove self-revive, and I still stand by this. Remove self-revive, remove Gulag. I hate those two things.
So basically...
Especially since the self-revive, you can use it it's a little circle, and you can fill it up most of the way, and then your teammate can come over and just tap you, and then you still have your self revive. Like, it doesn't use it up if somebody just finishes the revive.
Yeah,
it's broken.
I see a lot of streamers do that, where they'll have a self revive and they'll just keep going back at it, and it's like, I'll get to you in a second, Tim, and it's like, no, come on, man. I think that would actually make the game a little bit more interesting. Another thing that streamers have been really pissed off about is dead silence is like everywhere, and I have one caveat to dead silence. I was a cop in the military, and they literally taught us, they call it tactically walking. It's a legit fucking thing, and the snipers and all those people go way more heavily into it, but you can learn to walk very quietly, very quickly. Knock it off. I will find you. Stop it. Sorry, they get talkative during the day. But yeah, like, legitimately, you could walk very quietly around a corner and no one would know you're coming. It's a legit thing, which is weird, where they're like, let's take out dead silence. It's like, no, you can legit do this in real world.
I do think they need a counter to it, because as it is, there is no counter. Like, usually they have like a perk that lets you hear people, like it lets you hear them a little bit better, and then normal people way better. And they need to, like, I've heard, because they have high alert, which is if somebody's aiming at you, it'll show like which direction they're aiming at you from.
Yeah.
And I think to buff that, you should put it to where you can hear people's footsteps who have dead silence.
Well, even if you're running, like if you're sprinting hardcore, you can't tactically sprint. There's no tactical sprint. So, anything else that, like, because I know, didn't they do like a huge debuff and buff on a lot of the weapons that they have?
I think I've played one round of the new season.
Oh, okay.
Because usually I won't play it solo, like only if somebody else is playing. My nephew hasn't been playing it as much lately, dealing with college or whatever.
Oh yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. I have those games where they're only installed because every so often my friend Natalie, she jumps on every once in a while, and it's like, all right, I know that these games are gonna be something that she's gonna want to play, so I keep them installed just specifically for her whenever she decides to jump on. And I don't play it, but like half the reason why I have them is because she either gift them to me, or we, that's a go-to game that we play, just simply because it's there. I am curious here, because I can kind of relate. This was kind of like when I guess I had my opening to video games here. You said all of the Metal Gear Solid on PlayStation X. Are you talking about PlayStation 1, like the OGs?
Yeah.
Okay. So Metal Gear Solid, was that just a game that you grew up on? Did it get a hold of you? Like, what kind of, run me through how that happened?
I think just the first one, the first Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation, I think released whenever I was about 13, and I played it, and because it was, cinematic, I know people hate that word, but because it had a story that I cared about. Like, I don't know, it just hit me different, and I would play through that a million times. And I mean, since then, there's been a bunch of games that do that, but I don't know, that was the first one where, I just wanted to play that game only, pretty much.
Well, so when you talk about it being cinematic, they explain that to me, because I have an idea in my head, but I want to hear your idea.
Like the cutscenes combined with the music and the voice acting and everything. I mean, yeah, there were other games that had cinematics, but they weren't as, movie-like as that game.
Yeah, so you feel like it made it more more a game. Like it made it more of an experience to play, other than just your standard, let's, cock, lock, and ready to rock.
Yeah.
All right.
I enjoy those games too.
Oh yeah, no, that's 100% for sure. And just so that we're on the same page here, we're talking about the 1998 OG Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation, right?
Yeah, so I guess I would have been 14.
Yeah. No, it's all right. I like to make sure we're talking about the same game, because this is a game that I legitimately like. This was my first actual immersion into something that wasn't Tekken or Spyro or something like that. And I remember fighting that, what was that guy's name?
Was it Ocelot?
Not Ocelot. I think he was kind of easy.
Psycho Mantis?
Psycho Mantis. That guy. Didn't know how to beat him. Didn't know how to beat
Whenever they
him.
make you tell you to unplug the controller and plug it into port 2. That's what. Yeah, Kojima does crazy stuff. Where I think there's multiple ways to beat him. I can't remember. I think you can shoot the statues or something. I don't know. There's like 3 ways to beat him.
But like, so I went to some random country in the desert when I was deployed, and I bought a Nintendo DS, right? You know, with the dual screen or whatever.
Yep.
And in one of the in the game, I bought it was a Zelda game. I forget what it was, but I had to take a stamp from the top, put it on the map below, and couldn't figure out how to do it. You just closed it. You closed it and then opened it.
Oh yeah, I've heard.
And I was like, like I got super pissed off, and I closed it and I threw it, and I was like, fuck this game. And I remember I left it on, and I was like, I should probably save it. And I was like, it transferred? Like, okay. Like, I was like, what the fuck? And then, blow out the candles, and I think I had a boomerang, and I'm throwing the boomerang, and my roommate had the same thing. He's like, oh, you gotta blow on the microphone. And I was like, are you serious? Like that? But like, and you think of doing things like that in games now, where like we have virtual reality, we have mics, we have, I can literally say a phrase and my phone kicks on. Back in 1998, thinking of going, oh yeah, just have them pull out the controller and put it in slot 2 and have it read the slot. Like, where do you come up with that? How do you think of that? Like, what?
That and like you needed somebody's codec frequency, and you had to look at the back of the box. They had that, which made it a pain if somebody was renting the game because you wouldn't get the box. But yeah, I mean, I just like that kind of interactive stuff, especially back in 1998. It was just like mind blowing.
I mean the soldier vision thing, where this is your vision, this is where they're looking. The AI was smart-ish. Like the game was almost like revolutionary for its time, and now you look at what we have, and it's just, everything's like 1,000 times more insane. But at the same time, it's almost like Metal Gear may have kicked off that kind of games.
Yeah, and now the series is dead, basically.
I remember trying to keep up with, like, I remember playing through the series, and I was like, there's no way I'm going to understand the lore behind this game. Like, it's too much.
It gets nuts for sure, but I still enjoyed all of them. And there's rumors that there's going to be a remake of the first one again, but who knows?
Yeah.
It's been a rumor for a while now, I think.
It would be nice.
Yeah.
I have a gripe here, and I wonder if you might be part of my mindset here. So, Metal Gear Solid has a character who basically, what's her name? I know you know who I'm talking about.
Is it Quiet?
Yeah, I think it's Quiet. Yeah, Quiet, where she's got to be in a bikini, otherwise, like, she dies or something weird like that. The hyper. How do you feel about like the hypersexualization in video games?
I don't mind it. I mean,
oh, sorry.
Sorry. No, it's fine. I don't really mind it. Like, I don't know. It's hard to describe. Like, Kojima had his reason for making that character. Yeah, it's for sexualization of his characters, but I don't know. It doesn't bother me, but I understand how it can bother some people. Like, it'd definitely be hard as a female to just be like, oh yeah, this is all I see. Just like the RPG armor situation where, like, I don't personally mind it, but I don't know. I usually play as a female in games.
Yeah,
allow that.
I very much play as a female in video games. I feel like it's almost an advantage at times, just simply because.
I'm so glad you said that, because my brother used to make fun of me for doing it, and I was like, if you're playing an MMO and you have a female character, people will just give you stuff.
Yeah.
That's where it started. Is just like people give you stuff like, oh hey, you must be a female because you're playing as a female character. It's like, I'm not gonna say I'm not. But
yeah, no, I don't. I'm sorry, I don't. Sorry, don't have Mike. I mean, to me, it's because like, what was it? Mass Effect Legendary Edition had a whole bunch of stats that it came out with it like a few months ago, and they're like 75 or 65% of gamers played as male Shepard, and like a smaller percentage played as female Shepard, and like, well, why? Like, why does everybody play as male Shepard? And I mean, it's just from the Legendary Edition and those people that allowed them, to collect data. But like, you're staring at this character for God knows how long in a video game, and a lot of it is third person. Why would you not want to Why would you not want to look at something that you like? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's great. I don't know.
Yeah.
I in Fallout 4, I am playing as Xena Skywalker, I called her, because Codsworth will say a lot of different names, and I like that about the game. I like when a RPG builds that element into it. I just wish that I was surprised that they didn't have like Luke Skywalker or like Codsworth will call you fucker. There's a lot of other shit he'll call you, but he won't call you Skywalker. Like, how did they not think of that?
Yeah.
And just a small little tick that I found there. Kind of curious.
Can you space it out and then it'll say it, or you won't say Sky or Walker?
I don't think, because I think the game just recognizes what you type in, like, because there's no spot for first and last name.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
It's been forever since I played Fallout 4, so I can't even remember.
Oh, I just, like, what was it, like, Battlefield 2042 was announced, and I was like, let's play some more Battlefield 4, and then I got really bored of that, and then I went just back to, like, I will literally just cheat, give myself a bunch of items, go into Fallout 4, and just be like, let's build a base. Like, that's all I do for that one round, and yeah, it's fun. The story gets repetitive old fast, like when you try to beat it a few different times, but at the same time, like, I got Game of the Year edition, and I'm finding so many new things, because I try different stuff every time I play, and I don't know if that's something that you do too, where you find a game that you've played, and you're like, let's try something different here.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
It depends on the game, but yeah. Yeah, one of those I'll usually try, like with Skyrim. I won't talk too much about Skyrim, but yeah, I'd play as a ranger, and then I'd try as, melee, great sword person, whatever you call them.
Yeah. Why do you say you won't talk too much about Skyrim?
Because it's 10 years old. Can we stop with Skyrim? The stupid anniversary edition is so stupid. Stop coming out with the same game. Come out with part 6.
I read I remember seeing a bunch of articles, that were talking about Skyrim, the Skyrim 6, and it's just like they're probably never, like, this is probably like 4 or 5 years down the road, and you're just like, no, that's upsetting. That's really upsetting.
And I mean, people keep buying Skyrim again, so I don't. That's why I like that I have it on PC, because it's just like it follows me through the generations. It's followed me for 10 years now.
I do like the retexture mods. I know you said you didn't really want to talk about it, but
no, I don't mind talking about it.
That's one thing I wish that they did, is that, like what they did with Mass Effect Legendary Edition, where they basically overhauled the game to make it, up to date. Like, this is
right.
This is where we were, this is where we need to be at, and it definitely seems like they upped the game quite a bit.
All right, with Mass Effect, do you, like most people, hate the Mako sections?
No.
The driving. Okay, I didn't either. I don't know why everybody complains about it. I still feel like Mass Effect 1, gameplay-wise, was better than 2 and 3. 2 was good, but I just liked the weapon modding in 1 a lot. Like, I always had, like, as one of my secondaries or whatever, I would have, like, a sniper rifle that could fire one shot, and it would take forever to recharge, but it just did so much damage. And I liked that level of customization. And then 2 is just like, no, you get reloads, and I don't know.
How pissed off were you when they made that jump to thermal clips in episode 2?
Yeah. I mean, not pissed, but it was just like, man, I really enjoyed that. And the Mako stuff, yeah, a lot of it wasn't the most varied gameplay, but like, no. I still enjoyed landing on a planet and driving around.
I will say this about Mass Effect 2. I think that they have an excuse for how bad it was. Because technically you're working for Cerberus at the time, and because Cerberus was such a small, I guess you would call it, it was small in the planetary scale, and that's how you were fighting. That's why that's why it wasn't like the original Mass Effect. That's why, there was a lot of those adjustments and changes, and it didn't feel as, I hesitate to use the word here, but as grandiose as the OG Mass Effect. And that's when they decided to. That's why 3 might feel so much more better than 2 because they wanted to give you that experience that you were in a quote-unquote startup. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cerberus believes you. Good luck. You have nothing.
I never played whatever the new one was. I mean, new it was years ago now.
Yeah.
But what was that one called?
The Mass Effect 3?
No, Andromeda.
Andromeda.
I never played that one because I don't know. 3 storyline wise, 3 just put me off the whole series.
Was it the ending?
Yeah.
Curious.
It's not even that it was the ending. Is that all the endings were the same, pretty much. That's where I'm just like, I mean, all these choices mattered, except that they didn't at all. Like,
I can't defend that. That is the one thing I cannot defend. I mean, I wish that they did different endings. Like, I kind of get it, but at the same time, it's like you poured everything into making, a decision. Like everything, like the small decision from Mass Effect 1 carries all the way through Mass Effect 3. You need to fucking make an ending that's gonna bring to life that ideal.
Yeah. I think it's just too much for them to handle. Having a storyline wrapped up that carries over all your decisions. But
yeah, I mean, that's why I always chose integration. With the Reapers. That's why I feel like that's the quote unquote best legitimate ending, because you're just like, all right, everybody's sprinkled green dust and we're now all integrated, and everything just stops, and everyone's like, we're friends now. And I feel like that's the best ending that you can get.
Yeah.
based on the three or four choices that you do have.
Now in the Legendary Edition, do they have the new ending or whatever? Because I know they redid some stuff. It does. Okay. I've never done that stuff.
The DLC that updated it, air quotes there. The DLC that they updated it officially has the new ending. And to be honest with you, I'm like a quarter way through Mass Effect 3, and I can't find it into me to finish it. I just can't. Kind of back to what you were talking about with Metal Gear Solid. I have a love-hate relationship with cinematics and cutscenes. I'm more of a let's dive into and start popping heads off.
Yeah.
So.
It depends. Like, yeah, with Metal Gear Solid, I enjoy the craziness in the cutscenes, especially in like 4, where Raiden's just like flipping around, cutting up Metal Gears with a sword. Like, I don't know. It's stupid. It's anime, basically, but I don't know. It's fun. But yeah, then there's some games where I'm just like, can I please skip this? And one of those games that I have a blast with is Max Payne 3. That game is so good, but the load times are so bad whenever you're playing through that game again. Like, the cutscenes you have to watch every cutscene, basically. That's how bad the load times are. And it's, even on an SSD, it still takes forever, and it's frustrating. It's like, I just want to play this game. Like, the game is fun. But to me, always let me skip a cutscene, and I'm good. Because, especially on replaying a game, if you can't skip a cutscene, it's just the worst.
Yeah. So that's right, you said you have played Fallout 4, right?
Yeah. Forever ago.
Oh. It's funny because, when it first came out on the 360, there were some really long load times. And I was like, all right, no big deal. And I basically upgraded to quite a powerful computer just simply because I was able to. And, it was just cheaper to buy a whole new system to get a better graphics card at the time. And
that's the way it is right now, pretty much, with this bot market going on.
It's not as bad as it was before, but it was like I could just upgrade my whole system for the same amount, and that's what I did. And I shit you not, I had a 5-minute loading screen on Fallout 4 the other day. I rescued Nick from Vault 114, I think it was, or whatever, and I exited out of the vault like you always do, and it just sat there loading, and I was like, all right, I guess I'm going to go make a sandwich. And I did. I made a sandwich. I came back, sat down, and was like, well, it's about that time to where my game probably should be reset. And I hit Control, Alt, and then I heard the sounds coming to the headphone, and I was like, are you serious? Like a 5 to 7 minute loading screen? Like, come on now. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. That's one thing I enjoy. Like, I wish they would remake Max Payne 3, because with, SSDs and stuff, it's like, let's get this done. Like, It was a very good game. The multiplayer was actually fun too. Not many people played it, I don't think, but
I actually have Max Payne 3. I should probably download it and play it. It sounds is it very reminiscent of some of the other Max Payne 3s that are out there? Or not the other Max Payne 3, the other Max Paynes that are out there?
Yeah, I mean they made some changes. Like if you're carrying a long gun, you can only use a pistol in one hand. If you're not using the long gun, like you can't stow away a bunch of weapons, which makes for some interesting stuff. But like the shooting just feels great. Like I don't know, it's just one of the best third-person shooter experiences I've had.
All right, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. All right, well, I appreciate the lots of gaming talk here. I am a little curious to jump into some Reddit questions, if you don't mind. How do you feel about answering some dating questions? Curious about that.
I feel great about it.
All right, let's do this. So we have an unpopular opinion. So I'm just going to kind of form it into the question. This Dunathon, or whatever his name is, said that you're an asshole if you don't tell your date that you're very disabled. And then he kind of goes into an explanation here. Says, I just saw a video on Snapchat of this series where a disabled person goes on a blind date, and I don't mean disabled as in like cerebral palsy, I mean like no arms, no legs disabled. I feel like it's a dick move to hide something that is significant about yourself that could potentially influence somebody on whether or not they'd like a relationship. And he does continue. He's like, yes, I know it's a blind date, but I believe some aspects are too important to leave until the day of. The same could be said for somebody who had a criminal record. So how do you feel about somebody who is severely disabled that might make like a little bit of more, And like you said, he's not talking about like just simple things, but he's talking about where it's like a heavily disabled person.
Right. I mean, I understand that as the disabled person, it'd be very hard to be like, hey, this is, here's some of the problems. Like, you're trying to put your best foot forward, essentially. But yeah, I mean, if I showed up to a blind date, it'd just be a shock, because then it's putting on you to kind of accept all that in that moment instead of giving you some time to be like, okay, I know what to expect here.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that'd be hard to.
I mean, I feel him because it kind of goes along with the whole criminal record thing. I know I have a friend who has a record, and dating is pretty interesting because people will like Google his name. Like girls will kind of get, like you exchange information. It's like, oh, here's my Snapchat or whatever, and it's got your name there. And I mean, I don't blast women for Googling his name. I feel like it's a little like your safety, women's safety is number one, obviously. But like you don't just come out right at the gate and be like, "Hey, it's Brad. By the way, I'm a felon. You should know that I'm 6'5". And it's just like, it can turn I even said this yesterday, and I got a lot of hate for it last night. It turns a super like into basically a hard pass right away. I mean, it's good that you're getting it out of the way, but at the same time, like it can throw a huge monkey wrench into things right off the bat, where a potential yes. Somebody could potentially get to know you right away, but if you throw some of that stuff like right up front, that are pretty big, like a criminal record or being severely disabled, it can really have a benefit. And it's almost like dating on extra hard mode.
Yeah, for sure. And with the criminal record thing, it's like people can change.
Yeah,
you can have a record, doesn't mean you're still a piece of trash.
Oh yeah,
and that's not me defending it because I have one. I don't have a personal criminal record.
Yeah,
like. And it's the same for me if you're on a dating app or something and you don't say that you have kids or something. Like, just go ahead and say it. That way it's not like a shock or something. I feel you don't have to say their names or anything, but you can just say, I'm a mother, I'm a father, whatever.
Mom of two. Like it's a give and take, because a lot of times like I'll be swiping through Tinder and I'll be like, mommy of two, and then they give like their dates of birth, and it's like, I don't really need to know that. Like, I just need to know your mom. Yeah. Or like the profiles that are literally just that. They're like, mommy of two, kids my world. And it's like, okay, what else do you have to offer? Like, do you like swimming? Do you like sports? And that's it. I'm a mommy of two. And it's like, dope. Swipe left.
And my thoughts on it is if you don't want to put it because somebody might swipe whichever way, to say no.
Yeah.
Because you have kids, then they're going to still not like you probably whenever they find out, 3 dates in, 4 dates in, that you have children. Like, I don't know. I feel like that's just, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of easy ways to solve these problems, and I do like it when people put things up front on their profile, because I am in the dating field. I don't. I'm single. I hate the phrase "single as a Pringle," because with a Pringle you can't just stop at one. So,
True.
I do like saying that because it makes it easy to swipe left, swipe right. But the biggest this article, or this Reddit post actually is interesting because it the title just is "You're an asshole if you don't tell your date that you're very disabled." It brings to light something else that I hate with people, is that a lot of the comments that I see, people like didn't read the article, like they just straight up commented on it like it was no big deal. Did you hear about the OnlyFans stuff that was going on?
Yeah, I've heard about it. Like I at first it was that they're gonna ban everything, basically everything their platform is used for, and then it was like actually it's just you can still have nudes on there. You just can't have, I guess, the more hardcore stuff.
Yeah. Well, that was something that I was kind of alluding to about the whole reading the articles, like legitimate, like it. I think it was like not even 2 paragraphs in, and it's like OnlyFans banning nudes, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, they're banning porn!" And you're like, "No. Like literally within the first 2 paragraphs, it just comes right out and says this and this, and it it's been over talked about now, but I'm just like, how do you read the opener and then not get into the article? Like that's what bothers me, is people will see a title, and they're just like, how do you not read that into it, especially with something that's big? I know they clickbait all the damn time, and it pisses me off.
Yeah, and I think that's why they clickbait, because the more comments, the more interaction, they'll get more hits and stuff.
But it's fake. It's so fake.
I mean, it is. It is, for sure.
I got a good one here. This I did a little bit of research on this girl, and she is a super shallow individual. I love her. Abba Superfan says, "I'm on a Tinder date. He told me he was 5'10", but I turn up and he's 5'6". We're basically the same height. Why did he lie? Just have to get through this dinner. Crying emoji."
Wow. I mean, yeah. The height thing's crazy, because I guess I'll get into it a little bit, but like I don't understand why. Like I mean I'm 5'10" myself, but like it really is. If on Tinder, there's literally profiles that'll say if your height doesn't begin with a 6, swipe right or whatever the hell direction. But like, and it's just crazy that. And again, this isn't a MRA, men's rights activist thing, but it is weird that you can't, as a man, say I don't want somebody who weighs over this, but as a woman, if you can say I can't have anybody that's in the 5-foot region, like that's crazy to me. Like you can control your weight easier than I can control my height.
Yeah,
I literally can't, unless you break my bones and do that technique where you stretch them out and have it heal up to make me taller. But
yeah, I was gonna say that's a. I heard about that, where they like can extend the bones and stuff like that, and it's like, that just sounds pain. That sounds not even worth it.
Yeah. I'll stay at 5'10".
Yeah. I was watching a random video that I came across last night where they were talking about kind of like the whole disparity between men and women, and this one gentleman had asked a very interesting question, where it was like if a woman can opt out of being a mom kind of at any point in time because of all the different options that she has, why shouldn't a man be able to opt out of it? And the 2 women that he was talking to, one girl was like, "Oh shit, you're like, that's actually a really good comparison."
I think I've seen this video. Yeah.
And then the other girl was just was doing the politician thing, where she was dancing around, basically giving it was interesting. But one of the great comments that was on here, because she put, "Just have to get through this dinner." One of the great comments I saw was, "But you're def staying around for that dinner though, right? Free food is free." Yeah, it's like free food is free food.
That's the same with I want everybody equal also, but with feminism, it's like you want all the equal rights except for you still want your free drinks at the bar. Like you don't want that taken away.
Well, like I went on a date with a very lovely woman once, and it was fantastic because we went. It was a very super chill date. Like I had never been to a very famous local ice cream shop, right? And I'd lived in this town for a number of years, and I never had been. And she's like, we should totally go, and I was like, dope. And I showed up a little late because I'm great like that, and she had actually bought me ice cream. And I felt really bad because she paid for my it was an ice cream cone. It was like $5,
Yeah.
not that big of a deal. But like for me, $5 is a pretty big deal. Like that's two soft pretzels at Quick Trip, Like to me, it's kind of something good. And like I didn't feel that connection. Like as soon as I got there, there was kind of some things about her that I wasn't really feeling. And then as we kind of got progressed on the date, I wasn't feeling it. And I kind of was like, I feel really bad that she bought me this, this ice cream because like I know I'm gonna be like, no thanks. Like I'm not feeling it.
Yeah. I think all dating should just be you pay for yourself. Because yeah, I mean, yeah, some people will literally just use it as free food. I mean, I don't know.
I had an ex that we went on 2 dates. I asked her to make it official, and she's like, I have a couple other dates lined up, and I was like, I would appreciate it if you didn't go on them. And she's like, well, one guy offered to take me out for sushi, and I have gone to take women out for sushi, and I was like, you know what, you go get that free sushi. Like as long as you don't do anything, like don't kiss them or don't put yourself in a compromising position, you go get that sushi. Like I totally get it. Like that's cool.
Yeah.
I took her out to a local steakhouse that did sushi, and it was like $25 for like two of her rolls, and I was like, "You're lucky. I really really like you. That's quite a bit for me,
Yeah, for sure. I have simple taste as far as not electronics. I have way too expensive taste, but for food, I'm just like, give me a McDouble. It's delicious. Like, yeah, a $10 hamburger is gonna be better than a $2 hamburger, but
Yeah.
not $8 better. Like it's good enough. McDonald's McDouble is plenty for me.
Yeah, you can wow me with a dollar grilled cheese. Like if you can make me a decent grilled cheese, you can wow me. Yeah. So I got a Auntie Ruckus. Can't really tell if who this is, but she's too afraid to ask. They are too afraid to ask. How would you ask someone on a dating app if they were born a woman without offending them? They say I'm using the seeking women filter, but some user results obviously aren't women, or they don't really much don't have that very feminine side. They're asking, what's a nice tactful way to come about asking them if they were born a woman without offending somebody?
Oh wow, yeah. I mean, that's one of those things. Just like the whole, if you're a mom thing. Like, I feel like you should be upfront about how you were born, I guess. But like, because some people, they're fine with that. Some people aren't. I know that's looked at as transphobic, but I don't know. I'm not getting into that. But like, just put it forth so that people know, so that they're not surprised.
Yeah. And I did pick these questions because they were legitimately like difficult ones. I don't know if you've been to the relationship advice or the our advice section. It is just filled with some of the most trash questions I've ever seen.
No, I don't go over to that side of Reddit.
I go over there to every once in a while they got some gems, which is where I come up with these sections, and I'm like, all right, let's dive into some questions. A couple of people had some great answers, and it led to a pretty good question. Lead into, like, if you match with somebody and you're not 100% sure, just ask them about kids. Like, it's a great way to kind of dive into it. This was not my answer, but essentially, it's like, hey, how would you feel about adopting a kid instead of having our own? How would you feel about adopting a child instead of having your own in the near future? And that leads the question to either they're going to be straightforward and be like, well, I technically can't have kids because of blah 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 blah, and you can get into it, or they might kind of blasé it off. And I know it might be transphobic, but some people are the way that they are. So
yeah, and I mean, to me that's fine as long as you're not actively hating a group. I don't like. Yeah, you do you. I just personally would, want a biological female
Yeah,
for myself, for my preferences.
yeah,
So,
yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Um, so kind of off dating, because a lot of what you see, like I said, on those Reddits are usually about dating or relationship. Uh,
right.
Shiro Lover wants to know how to gain weight.
Oh, I don't have that problem. Eat McDonald's a lot, I guess. I don't know.
I love some of these questions because it, it's you can't it it's like when I go onto those animal subreddits and they're like, how little piggy here's blah 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 blah. I'm like, every answer is go to a fucking vet.
Yeah.
You know, you just I can't I can't diagnose what's going wrong with your piggy via picture or this. Like, take him to a fucking vet. Um, this is one of those advice questions. It's basically like what are you trying to do? Like, are you trying to plump up like Pillsbury Doughboy, or are you trying to
Yeah.
get like hulked out? You know.
Yeah. Yeah, and what's your diet right now? Like, are you, because there are some people who can just eat crazy amounts and they don't gain any weight. And there's me who can diet and I still am a big old fat man. But yeah, I mean, it depends. I mean, there's definitely stuff you can eat to put on some weight. Just, yeah.
I am curious about this take. That was just one of the ones where I just thought where it's just find a dietitian or talk to your doctor about what you want, because you throw something vague out there, you're gonna get some pretty vague answers, and he did get some very vague answers. This next one is a young adult male who is, I am an 18-year-old male and honestly don't understand why I'm at the butt of jokes. Constantly disrespected and just pooped on in general. Like, why? Is it the way I look, speak, walk? Is it my personality? Am I too loud? I don't have a clue at this point. I've always been treated as less, isolated, feel unimportant or worthless. In the end, I just isolate or remove myself from my group of friends. It's hard to find friends, and it really sucks. Is there any advice on how not to be shit on constantly? I always stand up for myself, but frankly, I'm tired of it and I can't take it anymore. Any advice on how to not always feel like I'm at the bottom of my social circle?
Some of that might be in this person's head. Like, there's some times where, yeah, like I especially, 10 years ago, I would not speak up ever, like, because I was just afraid to look like an idiot. Even if I didn't look like an idiot, I would think, oh, these people hate me. There's a lot of stuff that you interpret poorly. I don't know this person's actual circumstance. Maybe they are all making fun of them, but there's also a good chance that they're not, or they're just playing around with them and don't mean it.
Well, one of the biggest things that I realized when I was in the military is if I wasn't getting made fun of, something was wrong. Like, if I wasn't getting constantly shit on, or if I it's like, people would be like, oh, fuck it, Jared broke shit. I'm like, I'm not even, like, I wasn't even there, and it was like, it was their way of accepting me. And I come to realize, like, a lot of my friends, like, if we're not making fun of each other constantly, or if we're not kind of, at least ragging on each other for a little bit, it almost feels like it's like, hey, Alex, something wrong? Or, hey, Brandon, like, you doing okay, bud? You haven't ripped on me at all this match. Like, is everything all right? So, and I don't want to call him soft. I don't want to say that he's soft, or I don't want to say that they're, maybe he needs to, like, express to his friends that that, like, hey, this is what's up, and if that's how you feel, like, I understand it. I understand it's a personal preference, but as a young 18-year-old male, like, dude, that's a lot of what happens.
Yeah. I mean, and for me, like, my family does that, where we'll rib each other or whatever, poke fun, and I didn't realize it until like 5 years ago, that because whenever I was growing up, I had a speech impediment. I couldn't say my R's, and my name's Bryan, so that's my name's Bryan isn't great, but I shockingly, I went to a tiny little elementary school, and they had somebody there who actually did speech therapy, fixed it, and I only realized like 5 years ago that that's probably why I was so shy for a long time, because I was afraid talking, people are gonna make fun of me. And yeah, just eventually I just said screw it, and just like I'll talk a lot more now than I used to.
kind of came out that shell.
Yeah, because like literally most people just thought I was just the quiet guy. Like my family knew I talked to them, talked their ears off, but yeah, in school and stuff, I just kind of just did the work and didn't talk to anybody really. And now I talk to random people on the internet, not just you. I'm just saying, like in games, like I'll joke around with people in a Call of Duty lobby or something if their name's stupid or something. But I would have just not even had my microphone hooked up. I would have just had headphones, and that's it. But that's more fun.
Those Call of Duty lobbies, dude. Oh my god. I saw a comment the other day. It's like, kid, you wouldn't be able to handle a Call of Duty lobby. Like, it would destroy you. I was like, oh god. I remember some of those in like oh god, just a few years ago. Yeah. Good lord.
Probably the worst.
The sheer bigotry and hatred that seethed and leaked from those lobbies changed me forever.
Yeah. Call of Duty does bring out the worst in people for sure. Well, maybe like Dota and League of Legends are worse. I'm not sure. I don't play those, but
yeah.
But I've heard those ones are bad communities.
I've tried to jump into quite a few communities with questions. I recently I interviewed a bunch of girls from OnlyFans. I interviewed 3 girls who had OnlyFans accounts. And the first one I interviewed was kind of alluding to that she was poly, and we discussed it on the podcast. And I had reached out to the polyamory community because I was like, I'd like to get a couple people who are poly to have an interview and talk about it, and kind of go a little bit more in depth. And I made a post, and what's interesting is that I try to look for specific people when I post, and the reason why I do that is because I know the kind of people I'm gonna get. I had 7 interviews lined up for the next week. You can probably guess who they were. All dudes. All dudes are... And I'd asked, I was like, I want a female. I didn't specify what kind of female I wanted. I just wanted a female. I wanted somebody... I was trying to be as inclusive as possible in my post. And basically, this woman just, shit all over it. She was like, meh. I was like, I'm trying to be an ally here. Like, I'm trying to be inclusive. Like, I'm trying to understand you. Yeah. And the toxicity of just some of the toxicity that's out there on some of these Reddits or some of these, as you put it, communities is just, it's almost like if you don't conform to anybody, like you have like 100 different people, you have to conform to 100 different people's styles, or you're just a piece of human trash. And it was like, you guys fucking suck.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the polyamory thing, I don't understand it personally. But yeah, I mean, yeah, do you? Again, but like, I can't imagine. But it does, because my wife sees some like TikToks of polyamorous people a lot, and it usually is one guy and like 3 girls or something. It's like, I don't know. I don't see too often one girl with multiple guys. It seems like it's usually one guy.
Oh, the gals are there. I was part of I don't think it would be a trifecta or a triangle, but I was with a girl for a little while who was polyamorous, and I was one of the side dudes that she just hung out with, and it's a lot more common, and from what I see, like, it's because the dudes are like smoking. Like you see some of those guys and you're like, yeah, I'd date you. Like I'm a total straight guy, but like, yeah, I'd date you. Like, no, I get it. I never understood polyamory because at the time, because with how I operate, like I'm 8 months into being single, and I'm probably gonna be single for another 8 to 12 months. That's just a fact. And so when someone's like, oh, I want to be poly, it's like, I'm not going to have fun when you're off, doing what you do on a whole bunch of other dates with a bunch of other guys where I'm just sitting at home like, let's play some more Xbox. Like, it's like, how many times can you go on a date with Tim before I'm like, all right, listen, God damn it, I'm tired of playing Call of Duty. So
yeah,
I feel you. And I'm not trying to push you into like making some random statement that's going to get you canceled or get people pissed off. I really don't care. What your stance is or who you are or what you have to say. I want to like hear an interesting topic where I can be like, oh, explain more,
Yeah.
So I don't want you to feel like I'm trying to attack you here.
No, I don't. I just know how some people, some groups are where they'll feel attacked, even if you're saying I'm fine with do whatever you want to do as long as it's legal. I don't care.
I'll put it to you this way: the people that listen to my podcast are very much of the same mindset of me and you. They're not going to attack you. They're very strong-willed, and they're very strong-willed individuals. To where it's going to take a lot of the saying is sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me. Words don't affect them. I mean, I know a lot of people. Okay, let me rephrase that. I know a few of the people that listen to my podcast. There are quite a few others that I don't know. But they wouldn't be coming back week after week with some of the shit I've said and continue to listen unless they're like, do you know who PKA is?
No,
the podcast.
So.
What about
I don't believe so.
Wings of Redemption? The Twitch.
No.
Okay. So PKA is this podcast of like three dudes. It was called Painkiller already, and this dude by the name of Wings of Redemption is, for lack of a better phrase, a fucking shit show in and of himself. He's a Twitch streamer. They started the podcast. They did really good, and people watch him on Twitch just to watch the shit show. Like, it just his community is full of trolls. Something's always happening. Something's always going down, and it's interesting content to watch. And if that's what they get out of listening to my dumb face talk, like, cool, go for it. Watch the shit show that is me. I don't mind it. So. I just wanted to make sure that it's like, feel free to open up and say whatever you want. I'm not.
Oh no. I just no, I want everybody to know that I'm good with everybody as long as everybody's consenting. I'm good.
Yeah. So, Jay Devermore has a question. Should I tip on takeout orders? I understand tipping a server during a sit down, but am I morally obligated to tip on a 2-minute maximum interaction, where essentially I'm guessing you order through an app and then you walk in, it's like, oh, your food's ready, you walk in, you walk out and you're done.
To me, you shouldn't feel obligated to. I do it whenever they swap the little iPad around and have the little numbers already there. I don't hit no tip because I'm stupid. But yeah, I mean, really, what am I tipping you for? Like, I paid for the food. Like, I don't. I like, whenever I'm going to a sit down restaurant, I'm sitting down. I'm like, I have a waitress or a waiter. I tip, generally about 20-25%, because I know that that's their wages. It shouldn't be their wages. They should just get paid a good wage. But that's for some reason how America is. I don't know, but. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I hate the takeout thing for that reason. Usually I'll get takeout because I want to avoid the tip, and then you want me to tip anyway. I don't know. But if they don't have that, I won't. I'll just grab the food and run away.
Yeah, there's the app that I use to order one of my, I don't really do it as much anymore, but one of my more favorite restaurants that I go to, has the order button, and they're like, oh, do you want to tip? And I'm like, okay, it's called Noodles and Company, and essentially you don't have a server. They're really, you talk to the lady at the front of the checkout, the cook in the back makes it, and then they slide it, they call you, and then you go get it. Right. Why do I need to tip who am I tipping 15 fucking % here? Like, where's that money going to? And I'm like, that's interesting. And then it's weird, too, because they're like, oh, we have a delivery option. And I clicked delivery one time, and they're like, oh, according to the third-party apps that we have to go through, your delivery cannot be complete. And it's like, why do you have a delivery part on your app if you're not actually going to deliver to me?
Yeah. I don't know.
Confusing.
I don't ever do delivery. It's too expensive. I'd rather drive there.
I
don't like delivery fees.
Unless it's like a pizza or a sub joint that delivers themselves, I've stopped using like DoorDash and stuff like that. It's too ridiculous.
I had somebody at work who used to, like, he would complain about his money, but then he would get like Uber Eats for to get Jack in the Box from. I was like, you just spent $20 on a $8 meal just to have this delivered. Like, I don't know. It's throwing money down the toilet to me. Like,
I mean, the convenience is nice. I will literally say I've used it.
Yeah.
I've used it at some point in time. Like I remember I was coming home and I was like, I just want food right there and ready when I'm done, and I should be home in half an hour. So I ordered right off it. And it was like, see you in half hour. I pulled into my parking spot in front of my trailer. The gal got out, handed. She's like, "Are you Jared?" I was like, "Yep, that's my food." And it was like, it was perfect timing, so it was great.
Yeah.
But like, I the convenience is nice, but sometimes I just can't just going, well, my dinner is 15 and the delivery fee is 15. I can't justify spending $30 on this. This is dumb.
Yeah.
So
that's where, like, to me, if it's just for yourself, yeah, I would generally not do it. But if it's for a group, I can understand everybody can eat a little bit of that delivery cost, but
yeah, then it might be worth it. But for those of you who know me or can see in the background, I've just got two little parrots, and they have a noodle or two and they're done. So it doesn't make for much here. So I have a topic here, and if you don't feel comfortable answering it, because this is actually a heavy one that I'm really interested in, I'm gonna paraphrase it. I do a lot of editing. I'm actually going to edit this podcast a little bit, so if you don't feel comfortable answering it, I can just edit it all out. The question here is, should I expose my now famous cousin for sexually assaulting me multiple times? Like I said, I'm going to paraphrase it just simply because it's like it's a long one. But apparently when they were younger, they're both the same age. They were younger, and they it sounds like that he was abused as a child, like, which is why he maybe felt like what he was basically he would flash her and run around and chase her with his little kid dick out. And essentially what ends up happening is it sounds like he ended up assaulting another girl not too long ago, but now but then it begs the question, should I expose my now famous cousin? And I'm kind of curious if you have a take on that, if you want to touch it, or if you want to just swipe left.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, to me, if you're comfortable with being, seen as the victim, I mean, you are the victim. I'm not saying you're not. But if you're fine with coming public with it, then, yeah, to me, expose them so other people know that, not to trust this guy in certain circumstances. Like, I know, a lot of... sexual assault victims feel, they don't want that put on themselves, which makes them feel more guilty that it happened to them, which it's not right, but that's the way it is for a lot of people. Sadly, that's how, a lot of people get away with it for so long. Like Bill Cosby, for instance, got away with it for so long because nobody wanted to come out. It must be their fault in some way, and that's not a good...
Not true.
But I understand that you don't feel good that it happened, so you just want to try to push it away. But the problem is, it can happen to somebody else because, nobody knew he was doing it.
The one thing that, like, I'm all for exposing people. I'm all for, coming out in numbers. Like, I mean, with the whole Bill Cosby thing, it seemed weird to me when he got accused, and then, just all the women started coming out. And it got to such an absurd number that I was like, I don't know if I can believe this just because of the 65 women that came forward. Yeah. And you're like, am I in a cartoon here? Like, obviously it's legit. Obviously it's real. Obviously he did it because he did, cop to it. But that's kind of where I draw the line is in her question. Should I expose my now famous cousin? She did end up trying to expose him to the family early on, and I guess her cousin's mom called her an idiot and threw her off the bandwagon or whatever. But the problem that I have is where she says my now famous cousin. Why did you choose why did you choose to do it now when he's famous before when he wasn't, and go to some other length? Like that's what gets me. Is I know that it's hard. I know I can't even fathom what a woman goes through or what a woman has to deal with when it comes to something of that nature. Because
and I'll interrupt you for a second. Because to me, even you saying that, there's men or boys that it happens to that, and I feel like that's overlooked a lot. Like people, like the whole teachers having sex with their students, like a lot of guys will just be like, yeah, man, I wish that was me in school. But they're traumatized. Some people, some kids might like it, but they're still being, taken advantage of.
Oh yeah.
And it's ridiculous that's looked at as a joke for a lot of people.
Oh.
I'm not saying you were saying it was a joke.
Yeah.
I'm just saying you were saying women, and I'm just saying everybody. Like,
yeah. So I guess I'll rephrase that. I don't know how anybody has the balls to come forward and do that.
Yeah.
The cajon, I guess to use that phrase, because like you're bringing a lot on yourself, and obviously we should take a look at everything objectively, but when there's incentive, like my now famous cousin, it's like, why did you wait till now? I mean, I understand it's hard.
I also feel like it's weird to even put that in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what does it matter that he's famous? Like, even if he is just now famous, I mean, there's a chance that you want to do it because he's famous, so more people might be in danger. That's possible, but
yeah,
it does feel weird that you'd even put that in the description. Like, just
I mean, it's almost like she doesn't want him to be famous because of what he did. He shouldn't get ahead in life because of that. And I mean, nobody should get away with that. Period. End of story. But I wish that women felt a little bit more empowered to report said things, or like anybody. As you were saying earlier, anybody should have the power to report, what happened to them or a crime that happened, no matter, what gender you are or who you are. But at the same time, I don't, the whole my now famous, it just kind of irks me in a manner that just, it's almost like you see an opportunity to where you could gain something from it, and I'm not thrilled about it.
Yeah, it's definitely a weird thing, unless it's just now that the person has name recognition, somebody might listen about it. Mm-hmm. Who knows?
Somebody might listen a little bit more, and it might be taken advantage of. I mean, it's a good way to do it, where you have more eyes upon it. It's like those streamers when they get banned for something really stupid, and their communities rides the wave and brings it all in, and it's like that more women might pop up that were too afraid to answer. So I mean, there are positives and negatives, but again, not to victim shame or anything like that, but it's like you're going to want to choose your words very carefully, because you have somebody like, OJ's lawyer or somebody like that, they could really pick you apart for just some of the most mundane, dumb things that you think are just nothing. They can turn into something.
Yeah.
So
they're paid big money for that stuff, so
they're
going to find something.
God, yeah, there. So I did see in Ask Reddit the other day that says, what conspiracy theory do you think is, what conspiracy theory would you not be surprised is true?
Oh, no. I mean, any of the JFK ones. I mean, part of me is like, I don't believe a lot of conspiracy theories, like the moon landing. I don't believe it, but I can see where it could happen. Like, I can be open-minded enough to see both sides. Like, I don't believe in flat Earth, but I see people saying, like, why would you believe it? Like, why would everybody lie about it? And it's like, I don't know, but it's possible. I'm not saying it is happening. I believe that the Earth is round, but... And the same with the moon landing. Like, the moon landing, personally, for me, is probably the biggest one. I do believe we did, but it is kind of weird that we did it then and then kind of don't anymore. Like, we just go to the space station. Like, I don't know. There are some sus things about it, to use that term. But, like, yeah, I mean, I don't think Stanley Kubrick made that footage or anything. But, like, I can see that one. I mean, definitely the JFK one. Like, somebody, it wasn't just Lee Harvey Oswald. I don't think
wasn't a crazy man in the book depository with a sniper rifle acting by himself. There was probably outside influences.
Yeah.
I love seeing that meme. It's like Stanley Kubrick did film the moon landing, but he was so adamant about it being realistic that he filmed it on location. It's like, yeah, it's just funny. I think it's funny because that you mentioned that. It's like, yeah, no, the moon landing, like, why did we only go there for? I think it had a lot to do with the Cold War that was going on at that time.
Yeah, for sure.
And then,
but for me, that's more incentive to lie about it. Yeah. To stage it and say, oh yeah, look at us, we're better than you.
But at what point in time does going to the moon, like, when can we brought back countless moon rocks, And it's like, at what point in time can we go, yeah, we've learned about all that we can with that, you know, like how much more can we learn?
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of the weird people who I feel like defund NASA. I don't care about space. Like, let's figure out this place first.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff in the ocean that's not, not mapped or anything, not discovered. And it's just, I don't know. I just feel like, okay, we put a little robot on Mars. Okay, what is that doing for us? Not, I mean, yeah, we can research stuff, but is that helping us do anything here?
Yeah. The one conspiracy, some of the conspiracy theories that I don't think that I would be surprised, wouldn't be surprised if they came true. Like a lot of the cryptids that are out there, like Sasquatch or the Jersey Devil or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised if something like that had, like, I mean, shit, there's documentaries where dudes go out in the jungle and like, this animal hasn't been photographed for 30 years. And it's like, yeah, you're in the fucking jungle. No wonder, Like some of these big forest reserves you look into and it's like, yeah, a big fucking furry mammal man thing could be out there. Very real.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like with the ocean. Sometimes they find a fish that they thought was extinct, or, they find stuff that's like, oh, we thought this was gone, and here's one, but it's so hard to explore the ocean because it's, deep down, it's dark. It's definitely hard to see everything. Like, you can't get a good scan of everything.
Did you see that it's on our all the at the bottom of the Mariana Trench? They put a little camera down there with some light and shit.
Oh, is this that weird thing with like the tentacles? Like, or I don't remember. I saw some weird footage of something weird. Weird.
No, it was like a 4K 60 FPS like it was super high def.
Oh,
and
no,
it's just this little rover just chill, like it's got this super bright light and it's just chilling on the bottom of the Marianas Trench, and you just see all these cool little creatures swim by and you're like, wow, that's dope. And then it shows some like just some barren landscape and you're just like, fuck. Like there's it's nothing. Just it was crazy. Absolutely.
Yeah,
crazy.
I don't like water much. I
last
like swimming in a pool. Like I the ocean scares me. I've been to the ocean or to the ocean one time, and I didn't go too deep because I don't like sharks. Jaws ruined me from sharks. And then like my wife will be like, "Oh, sharks won't get you. Like they don't eat people that often. They don't go to the beach." And it's like, but then I'll see footage on Reddit or something where it's like, somebody swimming not that far out, and it's just like, oh, you got like 5 sharks around you, and it's like, that's the most terrifying thing to me, even if they don't want to eat me. Whales can swallow you whole. I don't care what anybody says. They can just do it on accident. No, thank you.
Do you hear about that fisherman that was like,
yeah.
I was like,
I use that as evidence against my wife. I was just like, look, see, it can happen. It can happen.
Have you seen those? So you got a little bit of thalassophobia, then I take it.
I guess I've never.
Oh, that's the fear of open ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely don't like. It's too much water. No, thank you.
I've been to the ocean actually a couple times, and like one time I went out and like I was walking around and I saw this little black mass moving in the waves, and I was like, oh fuck, shark, and it just turned out to be like a bunch of seaweed that was just like right off the coast, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm done. I don't even care. You're right, Jaws ruined me. Have you seen some of those videos where dolphins are playing in the surf with surfers and it looks like a shark, and then they just jump out and it's a fucking dolphin?
Yeah.
God, that'd be scary.
Yeah. I just like, also on Reddit, I think I saw like there was somebody in like the little shark cage, and a shark gets half of its body into the cage. I'm like, that's the most terrifying thing. Like, you're supposed to be in this cage to be protected. Yeah. And this thing is a foot away from you with its mouth open, just trying to bite you.
It was curious, and now it's fucking livid, and you're right in its path. Like, no thanks, bro.
I don't like that stuff.
There was a Discovery documentary that was on where the guy's sitting in a pool of sharks, and he's like, these nest sharks are really nice. They don't bite very much. They don't do it, and then all of a sudden, just bam, one hits him in his leg, and it takes like they show it, and his calf is just gone. It's just gone. And he's like, oh, maybe they do bite. And you're like, well, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. And it's like, why would you... They're like trying to dispel the rumor that like it was curiosity bites, but apparently like they went back and showed the footage, and like the shark had been bumping him a couple times, and it's like, he's like, I should have known. But at the same time, I'm like, dude, The first time a shark even touches me, I'm walking on water getting out of there.
Yeah.
I've been, like I said, I was from Wisconsin when we first really talked. I was swimming and I felt something on my stomach, and it was just a tiny little perch, just a tiny little perch. Just hit my stomach. I shot out of the water like a fucking cannon.
I do not like fish. I refuse to eat fish because I hate fish so much. I just don't like their eyes. No, thank you. I hate fish so much.
Fuck that nonsense. God. All right, well, Bryan, yeah?
Except for tuna. I do like tuna fish.
Why?
Weirdly.
Okay. Well,
I don't know. I just, as a kid, I had it a lot, so it's nostalgia for me. I don't know.
When I was in the desert, people would steal tuna packs like mad crazy because it was super high in protein, and everybody, like that was the life in the desert. Was a lot of people they're like, what are you doing after work? I'm gonna get my pump on. It's like, dude, you've been doing it, for the last 200 days. Like, you can chill out. And all of a sudden the DE fact is like, oh, like 2 tuna packs per person, and I don't eat tuna, so they'd be like, oh, Jared, go grab us some tuna, and it's like, all right. And then it was kind of fun because when I was over in Kuwait, there was a 2-drink minimum. Like, you could have 2 alcoholic beverages while you're over in Kuwait. And let's just say, for someone who doesn't drink, I got paid very handsomely to conveniently go to the bathroom at times after I order a specific drink. So it was fun little way to make money. Brought back a little bit of memory about the tuna. That tuna, God, I hated how that shit smelled. Shit was ridiculous.
Like I say, my mom would make tuna salad, and I would just eat the hell out of that stuff. And so it's just a nostalgia thing. I don't eat it often, but it's still, I'm okay with tuna.
Dope. Well, Bryan, we're about an hour and a half into it. I really appreciate it, man. We answered a couple difficult questions. One that was probably a little too weird for the podcast, but hell, I went with it. I rolled with it. I appreciate you sticking around for it. So this is the part where you pimp yourself out. If you want to throw out there your YouTube channel, your Twitch.
Yeah, I stream on YouTube. I tried Twitch. It keeps telling me that the stream stopped. So on YouTube, at Paul Kersey. That's, if you need to know, it's the character, Charles Bronson's character from Death Wish.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I just like Charles Bronson. And then I also do a podcast with my brother and our friend called Two Pete's and a Podcast. Our last name's Peterson.
Nice.
We're on like episode 124, I think.
Oh, snap.
It's fun.
What's it about?
It's mostly pop culture stuff. I mean, a lot of video games, but we'll talk about movies. We'll talk about anything. The one last week that's on YouTube right now is about the Burger King chicken sandwich or whatever the hell.
Okay.
A lot of it is about that. But
all right.
we don't do like a specific thing, but usually I have try to come up with a dumb title for it about one specific topic. But
all right. Are you on like Spotify, Google Podcasts, all that stuff?
I couldn't find it on Spotify. I applied to be on Spotify, but yeah, I'm on iTunes, Google Music, whatever the hell, everything except for maybe Spotify right now.
Okay,
not sure.
No, I know that Parrot Gaming Productions is pretty unique. You'd slap that on in there, it shows up. But I hosted a podcast about serial killers with an ex-girlfriend of mine that she took it over because we split, but like. It was you type it in and you almost had to get lucky and find her icon buried amongst everything. So I've got plenty of time, dude. I'll link to all your stuff in the descriptions and all that other good stuff, so you get some shout-outs and hopefully get some traffic from there. So I appreciate you showing up, right, man?
No problem.
All right.
Fun.
Yeah, hang tight real quick. I got some other stuff. And to all of you other crazy individuals out there listening, we love your faces, and we'll talk to you later.